Hello. First of all, I should apologize for the terrible sound quality of the previous videos. I did try some different headsets and nothing really worked. I'm currently recording this directly into the microphone on my laptop, and that's probably not a good idea, but it's the best I can do currently. Anyway, so today I'm gonna bash Terra Ignota. See what I did there? You, you I because bash turn not bad. Never mind. If you read the books, you're rolling your eyes right now. Anyway, so let's back up a bit. The reason I started my Malasan reread earlier than I initially had planned was that I have a hard time DNFing things, and DNFing is YouTube-ish for quitting. I'm a completionist. I need to be better. I need to become a better quitter. That's what I'm saying. So I was forcing my way through a series that I very much did not enjoy, and after I finally finished, I really needed something that I was guaranteed to like, and hence I found myself reading the prologue of Gardens of the Moon's minutes after finishing the last book of the much celebrated Terra Ignota series by Ada Palmer. No, I'm a reader that appreciates a challenge. Malasan is my favorite series after all. I also like stuff like Jeff Vandermeer, Alistair Reynolds, R. Scott Baker, partly because I enjoy a challenge, and to be fair, I like to feel clever. Therefore, I may be overly critical to books that provide challenges that I fail and make me feel stupid, which I don't enjoy. Now, there's a difference between a book making me confused and therefore curious to learn more, and a book that kind of smugly scolds me for not having read all the Greek classics and not having a comprehensive grasp on European 18th century philosophy. And unfortunately, that's what I feel that Terra Ignota does. Had I read the classics and gotten a degree in philosophy instead of psychology, I'd probably feel rather clever and thereby ignoring a bunch of other stuff that this sci-fi story does rather poorly. But to be fair, the world that Palmer builds up is unique and unlike any other vision of the future I have encountered, and that is refreshing. The only thing we know of the far future is that we will not be able to imagine it. Um, Speaking of imagining things, I cannot for the life of me figure out how anything in this world looks. If I read Alistair Reynolds, the aesthetics of the world is very clear. I can imagine it. Take the Expanse, a series with issues, but I mean, still worth a read. Especially the first few books I really liked, and I could envision those books in my mind. And then when I watched the TV series, I was amazed on how much my internal vision of the setting were in line with the scenography in the series, except for the Rosinante that just looked like crap in the series. But in the world of Terra Ignota, I'm at a loss. I don't know how the buildings look. I mean, how large is a bash house? Flying cars are a crucial part in this plot, which is quite clever. I mean, that's um, a rather big sci-fi trope that Palmer takes makes a central part of the entire plot. But I can't figure out how the flying cars look, or how it works, or how it feels to be in one of them. Um, Also, I don't get a sense on the people living in the world. We only follow some characters, and uh, it's like in a kind of a pre CGI movie where you have the 20 extras that the production could afford, and they are standing around listening to someone seemingly delivering a speech to a huge crowd. It's hard to put words on the feelings again, but it's like we have these huge, greater than life characters that are interacting with each other. That's about it. I don't know if is there room for an everyday worker in this world. Well, I don't know. It doesn't feel populated. I don't know how else to put it. And everything in the series seemed to be secondary to the philosophical ideas and themes. I mean, to the point where even the major plot point that is pushing two fractions into conflicts is, I mean, I don't see the conflict. There are two people. In the end, I'm not going to spoil what it is, but I mean, it's obvious that we have two fractions and stuff is going on because things are happening behind the scenes. And when we get an answer to who these fractions are and what they want, I don't see a conflict because we have two opposing views that I don't see why they should be mutually exclusive. I don't see the need for this conflict that's been driven the plot. The author needed a conflict for all the references to the classical texts and a playground for her for the philosophical ideas. Um, and characters are largely unrelatable as well. That's really, I don't know if I could criticize that, because given enough separation in time in any direction, it will be hard to make sense of people's behaviors due to the huge discrepancies in environment and norms and science and what have you. Um, but it doesn't help a present day reader very much. And there's some mystical, magical, religious aspects that is introduced already in the first chapter, and it doesn't fit with the rest of the world building, I think. And even though I agree that most religious texts could be classified as fantasy, including them these themes in science fiction rarely works, in my opinion. But that's personal preference. Still want to end this with a few positives, though. So one interesting thing that I think Palmer does very well is how Palmer handles sex and gender. In this world, inquiries regarding someone's sex or gender is considered to be very offensive. So, as in, why would you be interested in my genitalia? In my That's just rude. And well, this is a minor spoiler. Um, but the narrator of the story tells me the reader that they will use pronouns anyway, and that's considered to be a bit edgy. But the narrator wants to help a reader who reads this in a future where these norms may have changed. And still, the reader soon realizes that some pronouns change and some women turn out to be men and some men turn out to be women. And the narrator explains this by arguing that if someone presents female traits and is treated by others as female, surely what matters for your understanding of their character and their role in the story and how people interact with them is what they do and how they present. So, what additional information could be added by telling you how their anatomy works? And I think that's a really interesting point. So well done. Um, I also want to say that there is a scene in these books, um, and I don't remember if it's in book one or two, but it's one of the best scenes in the genre I think I ever read. Something about it just caught my attention and held it. It's beautifully written. It's the first scene that is set in a brothel that will become a very important setting for a lot of what's going on in the story, and a lot of very important people have gathered there. And in this scene, we start off with a few of them, and they're waiting for the other ones to appear, and they drop in eventually. And it's so damn well written. And in my mind, I just wanted to see this I saw it as a theater play on a stage, um, and I would like to see this on a stage, like without context, like a Waiting for Godot kind of surreal story. I don't know why, but I just love that particular scene. So in this series that was very hard for me to get through. It still had one of the best scenes I've read. Just awesome. Also, the cover art. I need to mention that the cover art is great. I read them in digital format, and I wish I had loved the series just so I could spend money and buy them and have them in my bookshelf because they are beautiful. However, well, never judge a book by its cover. So go kill a mule, then either read Terra Ignota to see if you agree or don't, is to see if you agree with me or not, or don't read it because you're an adult and you can make your own choices in life. Either way, hope I'll see you in the next one.